Good Tuesday evening. Welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Tuesday Night Flight. It's the big guy KG sitting in with the man that is probably next to myself and maybe on the same level with BJ, probably the biggest Big L fan you can find, the Midnight Rider.
What's up, folks?
And we have a special guest tonight for our Joe the Fan segment. Week 2, baby. None other than my first child was a man child. And I was told to describe him as my crotch fruit.
I don't know about all that.
My guy, my quarterback. That's my quarterback. My man Dario. Dario, how you feeling tonight?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm feeling good.
So much energy, man. We gotta calm him down already.
Yeah, man. He just off the daggone chain, boy. Jeez. Slow down, son. We just got here. Midnight Rider, how you feeling tonight?
Man, I'm good, man. I gotta figure out what I'm eating for dinner, but other than that, I'm good. I got a late start, so I'm trying to do my best with these 2 chicken breasts, I guess, and call it a day.
Already been cooked?
No, sir. Yes, sir. We late night cooking.
Season them things up, pan serum a little rice, lay them on a bed of rice.
We might do that.
Get some olive oil, some string beans.
See, we don't have string beans. So this like chopped in here. I got the chicken breast. I got some other stuff, but I ain't got everything. It's like Friday. Chicken, no rice.
Ham,
no
potatoes.
Yeah, I think I got some mashed potatoes in there. So
I might you got actual potatoes.
No, if I'm doing this, dog, I gotta cooking at 9:00 because we're probably gonna be an hour. I'm not mashing potatoes, bro.
No, I wasn't gonna make you mash potatoes. Nah, what you do is you welcome to the cooking part of the show. You wash that potato off real good, wrap it in some saran wrap, put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, turn it over. 3 minutes, turn it over. Make sure it's nice and soft. Cut it down the middle. Drop a pat of butter in there. Season it up real good. Get you some cheese down the middle. Put it in there for 45 seconds. Bring it out. Put your chives and your sour cream on top. You got yourself a baked potato to go with your pan-seared chicken.
I don't like microwaving stuff, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. With certain things, I'm just a purist, I guess.
I can understand that. No shade thrown here. So
that's all good. I got shade the other day. What was it? 3 weeks ago, I went to make ribs, and I knew the guy was gonna say something because he had like this shirt, and he had like the whole cow on his shirt. And I'm telling the lady I gotta make the ribs in the oven because I'm not using my grill today. The level of disgust and judgment that brother had in his face was like beyond belief, man. He probably just wanted to take my black card and everything. So I ain't seen him since. So he probably ducking and dodging me. Don't even come to the store when I'm in the store because he don't even want to see it.
It's okay. It's all
right.
Yeah,
see?
Well, since we talking about Dario, what you cooking tonight?
Well, I already ate. I had tuna fish sandwich.
What kind of chips?
I had some the original Lay's.
Ooh, that is
okay. Okay. So drink. What do we go with drink? Is it a fountain drink? Is it a regular soda?
I just had a purple Powerade. I don't really like sodas that much.
Okay. All right. I duck a little bit for the drink, but if you don't drink sodas, I understand. I like the chip concept. Go with the original. Now, do you put the chips on the sandwich at all?
I did, yes.
Oh, now you're kicking it old school. So you think I like that. Your father taught you well. That's good stuff right there.
Well, let's jump into this Joe the Fan segment. I'll kick it over to the Midnight Rider to kick it off.
All right, cool. All right, Dario. So, like I tell everybody, I always ask this question. I started with one of my own other show I did, but I like the concept. So, for you, the moment that you either fell in love with sports or your fondest memory of sports growing up?
Well, uh, my dad just got me into sports, and he would watch it, and then I would watch it because he was watching it, and that really got me into it. But I think what really got me into like football and basketball. Well, what got me into football is when uh, I joined the football team when I was young. So I did that for like 2 years, and I was like having a lot of fun. And honestly, I just thought it was fun to watch, to do, and it's just I just keep saying it. It's just fun. And for basketball, I don't know. It just happened. It's like another stress reliever, if you will.
Okay. So you like college and pro, right?
Yeah, I watch some college from time to time.
So give me your favorite football player and your favorite basketball player, if you have
Uh,
them.
favorite football player.
I mean, it could be now, it could be somebody from the past, it could be whatever, man.
Well, as you know, I grew up. I wanted to be a quarterback, so at the time it was like RG3. I really liked how he was like very versatile. He could throw, he could run, and Michael Vick. He was like the king of it,
Right.
and I really enjoyed that. And as far as wide receiver, I would say because I wanted to be a wide receiver also. It was just like a multi position. So wide receiver, I think, probably Randy Moss.
Okay.
Maybe Jerry Rice. I think I like Jerry Rice more than Randy Moss.
All right, big guy. It's all you.
Well, I know the answer to a lot of the questions, but I'm gonna ask for the folks at home. Favorite football team?
Well, now it's the Washington Commanders, but
Okay.
it was the Redskins, but the Commanders.
Your mom's in the kitchen chanting Dallas, but we know that's not true because you want to live here. So but all right, what's your overall thoughts of the team this season coming up?
I keep missing I kept missing the preseason games, but I'm hoping that we could do better now than we did previously. So I'll be definitely looking out for that and the difference in how they played.
Okay. Fondest sports memory. That's one of the midnight ride. That's one of the midnight rider questions. Fondest sports memory.
And this can be you, or like it could be your playing career, or it could be like something you watched.
Well, it was when I was playing. I think both seasons it was just fun to play with people my age. We went to the playoffs. It like just looking at the different fields, going out and experiencing different places while I was playing was fun. And just, playing my position, doing what I could do. That was all fun. Dad, you remember this when I forgot who we were playing against, but they put me at running back, and I that was like the one time I had the ball and almost scored.
Yes.
Because I was center and right guard and defensive tackle a lot.
Smallest thing on the damn field.
Yeah.
And you got Perry checking in. What's going on, fam, man? Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying yourself. I know you're sitting back, relaxing. So it's good to see you.
We gotta drop the bug and praise here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The boss BJ says he has a whole different perspective of sports, and he asked the question: what year did you start watching?
What year did I start watching? It was very young. I can't remember.
I mean, we know Berg, but
Berg.
like you can remember.
I think 2008. I think because I think at the time I was a Falcons fan. If I remember correctly.
Yes.
That was?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it was 3 years in a row you had 3 different teams. You went from the Giants to the Eagles to the Falcons. Then it was the Steelers. Then it became the Redskins.
Nah, I wasn't Steelers. I was Lions. I didn't like this. I didn't like the Steelers. I think that was Xavier.
Oh well, he liked the Steelers undercover anyway. That's why he at where he at now, undercover.
If you could go right now and play whatever sport you want, whatever stadium you want, and for whatever team you want, who would it be?
Professionally?
Yeah.
I don't really know what like stadium and stuff, but I definitely do want to play football for probably defense, because I see a lot of cornerbacks and safeties getting demolished by the wide receivers. So I think if, I could help in any way as like a safety, I would, but I can't really say for sure which team yet. I would go Commanders, but that's going to be like a standard choice for me because I like the Commanders. I don't always want to choose the team that I like. I want to, because I don't want to be like, because if I like a great team, I don't want to play for that great team. I want to play for an underdog team, and not saying that the Commanders aren't underdogs. It's just, I want, I just base it off like how I play Madden, and I don't, just go for Commanders all the way because their depth chart could be already full on safeties or whatever position I play. So whatever team needs me, I would play.
So all right, so you said Madden. You have 24. You on 23?
I'm on 23 for right now.
Right. So if we loaded up the game right now, and you got to pick your team. Who's the team you rolling with for a game 1-on-1?
It depends on who I'm playing against.
You playing against your dad.
You
probably used to giving him, getting W's. You know what I'm saying? I know he used to catching L's from you. Just go ahead and say who you play with, man. You probably got like a Baltimore Ravens like streak of 24 in a row. I understand. You don't want to brag about it.
No, it will be. Last year it was the Packers because we did Superstar Knockout, I think, with the Packers, and we were undefeated. We never lost. But
we made dudes quit.
Yeah, we did. It was like the best duo in that. But I don't know. I haven't really played with anybody this year.
Okay, cool. KG, all you, man.
Well, the boss BJ, your uncle, chiming in. Now, he's saying if it wasn't for me, you'd be telling us Steph is the greatest point guard ever. In your honest opinion,
No.
Who's the greatest point guard ever? In your honest opinion, not coming from me, who's the greatest point guard ever?
Well, I'm not really much. I don't like scoring now. I can score if I want to score, but like it's not something that I think is necessary because everybody on the court wants to score. So I would go with someone who is a great playmaker, who makes a difference. So it would be, it would probably be Magic Johnson, or because he was a great passer. John Stockton, maybe.
Come on, Dario. I know he's in the room, but you can say who you want to say.
I'm not even looking at him. I'm being serious. I'm okay with the NBA now. It's just it's too many scorers. It's too many people that wants to score, that wants to look flashy, while doing all those dribble moves and scoring. I like assists. I like
How old are
getting
you?
I tell myself like 3 different ages. So it just depends.
Hold on. How you tell yourself 3 different ages? You only
I'm
one age.
19. No, I'm like 3. I'm 19. I say I'm 2. I say I'm 2000 and what is it? 22 now. So
23.
it's like, yeah. So I'm 2022. I was born a year after the first year.
All right. I'm not even gonna get into that one. I'm not get into that one. All right, last question for me. No pressure. Favorite parent.
I can't answer that.
I didn't ask that question. Jeez. Boy, pick right.
I can't answer that. I plead the fifth.
All right. Go ahead, KG. You want to close it out?
Well, we got comments to get to, and Dario, I'm glad you played the fifth on that.
Oh.
You see? She
Yeah.
right there. The boss BJ says he playing for the Bears 15 degrees Soldier Field.
Like that.
You see his dad give him the look when he asked the question. I looked away.
I wasn't. I'm not paying attention to him.
I looked away. I looked away. B said it was it was very subtle. Not even look. He got that boy in the corner sweating. He's not even here. He's not even here. We're in two different places. Perry say he loved that. Perry also says Halliburton would be a good pick for you today. Tyrese Halliburton.
I like that.
And B said, why can't we see both of your hands? They right here. They right here. I'm not influencing the kid at all. I'm not. He's old enough to make his own decisions. And I can say this. Two things I can say. This Joe the fan is a little bit more personal for me because I was able to cultivate this. So
sounds like you say brainwash.
No, because I always showed him videos of different players to let him choose
who we like.
A piece from this player, a piece from this player, a piece from this player, and build your game. He doesn't like to admit it, so I'm going to brag about him a little bit. I think when he was about 14, I started making him play with grown men. I said, "You're not playing with kids your age no more." I started making him play with grown men, and we had a game over in Forestville. Cat was running on fast breaks, dunking. This dude, at about 15 years old, chased him down and blocked his dunk. I'm just like, he doesn't want to talk about it. He's all naughty. I said, you got up there. You went up there and you blocked his dunk. Okay?
I was just playing defense. I could.
They never let him play with me. They say you coach him too much. I said, I don't coach him. I tell him to do his thing. I tell him don't be scared and go at it. So that's one of my fondest memories of us playing together. Watching you play, one of my fondest memories is you had an Earl Campbell type run one day. I think you were about 9, and you took the handoff, and you kind of stumbled a little bit when you took it, and then you dipped your head and you ran the defender over, and you picked up the first down. And I was just like, he paid attention. He paid attention. And it was that was one of my many proud dad moments. So the boss BJ says he has a question for you. I want to know what he would change if he had creative control on 2K. And we were just talking about this earlier.
You mean like as in 2K?
You can say anything on there that you want.
I would probably, well, for the PS5, it's kind of weird, but the team takeover activates itself. So I would definitely change that because you would be in a rhythm, get a good assist, or you think you get a good assist, and then like it switches over at the last second, right when they're about to shoot, and then it forces you to shoot. So I would definitely change that. Maybe stop worrying about money as much and worry about what the people who are buying the game, the consumers, really want. Because every year, it's always something wrong with the game. The only thing that I feel like they change is the overalls of the players, and probably something that they didn't want changed. Like the park was the best. I keep seeing watching people talk about how the boat, the city, all that is just not as good as it used to, as the park was. The city was too big. The boat was good for that 1 year, but like after that, it was too much. So, having the park back would be just perfect because the park had everything in one area and you didn't have to run all the way around the city just to, look for something. And uh, probably also the badges because they keep taking out good badges or badges that aren't too good and aren't too bad. And then putting in badges that are overpowered for no reason. So I would probably put badges that people actually want back in.
Okay.
So are you playing the game right now? Not as we speak, but are you in a session right now on the game?
Yeah, I'm playing against the Cavaliers right now.
And what team are you in? What position you playing?
Well, I'm a point guard. I didn't make my power forward yet. I'm a point guard, and I'm playing for the Wizards.
Okay, cool. Sounds good, man.
And the boss BJ said best 2K year.
Well, I can't really say what's the best 2K because when I played 13, I barely played 13, so it's the only things I can say is between 13, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. So I guess out of those, I would have to give it to probably 20 because it kept me the most interested in it, and I actually got to 90 twice on my player. I can't say too much about 13 because I didn't play as much. Dad, you played like a whole lot, even like years after. So
Yeah.
you would say more about that. And
Well, 13 was a different beast. I was in one of the best point guards in the league and never got no daggone shine in the daggone All-Star game, but that's a different story. We ain't gonna talk about that right now.
yeah, 18. I think it was the first time I actually got to 90 twice because the first one was a playmaking shot creator because I wanted to shoot mid ranges because I don't need to shoot a three and also to play make, and I think I averaged a double, and then I made a two-way sharpshooter so I can play defense and shoot on the spot because I thought shot creator just meant you were a better mid range shooter and not better on the move shooter. So yeah, I think every year since 19, I averaged at least a double. I think 21. I made a power forward that averaged a triple double, and I think 19 or 18, my point guard was a pure shot creator that I made him like really heavy and really tall, so he was getting triple doubles himself, and that was when I played with the Lakers.
All right. And one more with from the boss BJ. He said, what team you picking for NCAA 24? Because we got a league coming.
I don't really know. I would have to, like, when I get it, I would have to, look through the teams, and I won't choose like the best team, but I won't choose the worst team. I'll just choose a team that I can control and a team that fits how I want to play. Instead of choosing a random team and then like making cutting people, bringing people to fit what I want. I want a team that can play how I like to play.
And what's crazy is what was that? What was that? NCAA 11 we used to play?
Was it? I thought it was 14.
It was whichever one with Tebow on it.
Oh God.
That's the one we used to play. And like we had battles in that. That was a game that somebody didn't want to put down because we had battles in that. Every weekend it was battle. and that's gonna be fun. The boss BJ say he playing the game now with his third hand. He in the details like his old man. Well, apple don't fall far from the tree. And as long as it's not Notre Dame, that's because I'm and you know what? We'll talk about that off air. Well, Dario, you gonna stick around or you gonna get up out of here?
I'll get up out of here, so it's not just a random circle in between y'all.
All right. Well, that's our Joe the Fan segment. Thank you, Dario, for coming on.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, man. I actually appreciate it because this is like a nice kindred father-son moment I got to see, man. It's a shame he brainwashed you that bad, but
the kids make their own decisions, man.
You should have saw the message.
With him, man.
He told me exactly what to say. It's on the messages.
Yeah, he gave you a script.
Bruh, for real? I told you what to say.
But no, man, I like the way you talk about sports, man. So from me to you, you still owe me a conversation about something else.
I can do that right now because you heard it wrong. I'm pretty sure you heard it wrong. I can clear that up right now. I did not say I wasn't guaranteeing he was going to be a first round pick. That was a coincidence. I had got him on Madden 23 and my team.
All right, so you got to go back because we got people listening that don't know exactly what the conversation is. So go back and kind of introduce them to what we're talking about.
Okay, so I said a while ago, do you think Bryce Young is going to be, the quarterback that was drafted number 1 overall? Coincidentally, I said, do you think he's going to be a number 1 overall pick in this NFL draft? And I wasn't claiming that he was going to be a guaranteed. I was just asking because I had got him on Madden 23, and he was like a 96 overall, and I used him. I was like, I guess I'll just, use him. And he could throw, he could run. And then I was like, let me look at his highlights. And I looked at his highlights. I was like, yeah, he's doing really good. And then I asked my dad, I was like, do you think he's going to be a number 1 overall? Because he can throw and he can run. And I guess y'all took it as it's a guaranteed. I guaranteed liked him. Like I was just asking a question because I had got him. And I was curious.
So now we're probably 8 months out of that conversation, or at least 6, if that's around the draft. You may not have seen him directly, but he was the number 1 pick. What do you think about him? Do you think he has a chance to be successful in Carolina?
I think he does. Okay. I think he does. If he can get the right protection, the right weapons, I think he can do some real damage in Carolina.
Cool. You got to follow up that?
I think that's all I got. The most I can say is off topic a little bit, as we always do. I tell you this on a regular basis, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything you've accomplished. This new step going forward, I'm proud of it. It's hard for me not to be proud because, you and your siblings, y'all have given me something to be proud about at all times. So, yeah, I'm not gonna gush too much because I got to be a gangster, man. That's my role here. I'm a thug out these streets. But yeah, and Perry says he has the right coach to learn from. I try to be. I try to be. I try to be. Instead of being what I wanted when I was y'all age, I said I need to be what I needed when I was coming up because I didn't have that luxury. I tell y'all that all the time. I didn't have that luxury. I had uncles, and my uncles are legends, but ain't nothing like having a dad. So you got a dad and uncle. So, and the boss BJ says, "Proud of your nephew. You don't understand." So,
all right, man. So we're not gonna hold you up, man. Again, thank you again for showing up, showing out. You got an open invite. So that's from me to you. And thanks for giving us some time, man.
No problem.
And if I can, if the time permits, we might be able to jump on and do something.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll be listening.
All right.
All right, man.
All right.
That was our Joe the Fan segment with Dario. Now the Midnight Rider and myself, we got some things to hash out. Our moderator's not here; he's in the comments. We got some things to hash out. Cut downs have been made. How did the sideline junkies do? How did the Midnight Rider and the big guy KG do? Speak of the devil.
There he is.
Evening, fellas.
Where you go?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Evening to you, fellas. I didn't want to pop on while Dario was. I didn't want to distract him, but if you hear the crickets out, I'm out on the balcony enjoying the smoke. But I wanted to join you guys and finish up the show, man, because I'm actually not driving right now, so I got some time.
All right, that's what's up, man.
Now, I'm sure you made a list on Sunday morning, correct?
Yes, this is what I want to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the show because I think Junior threw away the list when I had him clean off the table.
What?
So yeah, that's me stepping in as a moderator, a little rusty because I was trying to find my book. I had my composition book, and then you know how you do your morning routine and you can't find anything. I don't know if you noticed when I had the podcast, I just kept looking around. I'm like, I know I said it here on the table, and I grabbed a random piece of paper and I started jotting everything down, and that random piece of paper took legs and took off.
All right, so let's do it this way. We'll give what we think we did. We'll do it like the 40 times. This will be the unofficial score for the 53-man roster, and then maybe Thursday night we can have the official breakdown and see how close it was.
Okay. That sounds good. Now, one guy I do want to address off the break is it Tinsley, the wide receiver?
Yes.
And that did I know Midnight Rider, you didn't have him, right?
Right.
You didn't think he was gonna make it, and I couldn't remember if KG had him because KG had 70 people. So
Right.
I had him. I had him.
KG had the Redskins, the AAA Redskins, the AA Commanders, and the Fredericksburg Nationals. He had
Y'all always say that, man. I was good.
He also had the popcorn guy and the cameraman. So I don't know.
Yeah. He had the grip. He had everybody. he had the guy lighting the tire tracks for the DeLorean when it on the
Y'all give me a hard time, a hard way to go. And I was on time. I did everything right. I made sure I counted everything.
Oh man, yeah, we'll go back and we'll clean that up, and that's my fault. I apologize to the viewers and the listeners. That is my mistake, but I'm gonna help clean that up.
So I think on my side, I think I had 8 wrong, and when I consider wrong is if I had a player on the roster and he didn't make the roster, and I'm talking about the 53 that's posted on the Commanders website. I don't care if they went to IR or whatever. If they're not on the 53, then it counts against me. And then if I had a guy, or if I didn't have a guy and he was put in place of somebody that I missed out on, I took a point away for that as well. So in my head, just off of what I thought I could remember, I think I'm -8. So I got 8 players wrong in this situation. They took a different step on the quarterback, and I'm a little curious if that was planned or if that was the situation where they don't know the rule just yet. And I can say that because the man didn't know if he was going to be in the playoffs or not.
Yeah, and that's amazing that you're saying that they didn't know the rule. We're talking about a NFL squad. They have to know that rule. Maybe they have. I'm hoping that they have a guy in mind. Maybe it's Trust Way that that they'll trot out for a third QB. I don't know. I just hope that's not the case. I really do. But we got to get to that because I want to talk to y'all about something Ron said afterwards after we get through some stuff.
That's perfect. What I was going to say after that is with Fromm, I know there's two guys, and I think I said this to KG earlier. I don't remember if we were online or what, but there's two guys I think that may hit the short-term injury reserve. So I think the team had to make a way to carry them through, because if you put them on IR before today at 4 p.m., they would have to be out for the season. But now that we've passed the threshold of 4 p.m., now anybody you put on injured reserve, you can put them on short-term, or you can make it so they're eligible to come back. So I think we haven't seen Logan Thomas in about a month. And I don't know how serious the injury is, but I get concerned when two teams, the Washington Nationals and the Washington Commanders, tell me, oh, it's nothing serious. When they say it's nothing serious, I feel like it's something serious. So I think he's a key person that might have to go on IR. They talked about Danny Johnson, who had the shoulder thing. I think he's another candidate for maybe going on IR, and that's when you bring back certain guys to take their roster spots. So maybe that's when you bring in Fromm, or that's when you bring back the fullback. I don't know, but I know this thing, and they said it in their press conference, this thing is going to be pretty fluid. So I don't think everybody that's on the 53 today, well, I know for a fact everybody that's on the 53 today isn't going to be on the 53 come Friday or come Friday before opening day. KG?
Looking over some things, and I think I am at 8 myself.
But you said 7.
No, because you said IRs. So if I got to take the guy for IR, because Daniels went on the IR and I had Daniels on my O line.
Okay.
So he went on the IR. That'll put me at 8 as well. So I do have that.
Eight's not bad, fellas. Eight's not bad. You know what I mean? I really thought, and I was surprised that y'all didn't think so as well. But Tinsley, I thought he did enough that game to scare them enough to not put him on the practice squad, risk losing him later on in the season. Because you can still move guys around, but if he can come out and do some of the things he did in preseason, I know it's preseason, but I mean he showed some talent, he showed some upside, and if you compare that, especially with Terry possibly missing time, and you need somebody to step up, and then we talked about Logan Thomas might not be ready, might not be 100% ready to go, so you need all the playmakers you can get to help your young QB. So I wasn't surprised he made it. Like I said, I was very impressed with that third preseason game. And also, I think Mr. Fromm, you might see him in the back row. I think his preseason stats, I think he may have earned him a spot on the team. Because, like I said, we talking about it's barely 15 serviceable starting quarterbacks in the league. So when you find somebody, I mean, he looks sharp. And, I want to credit that to EB. I really do. I want to credit that to him and how they're practicing now and how he's making them go. And they just look sharp. They look crisp. They look good in their third preseason game. And I'm hoping that continues into the regular season. But I think Mr. Fromm will earn his spot somewhere else.
I'm going to ask a question. Now, let's put this out there for everyone listening. If I'm not, the Midnight Rider got all the safeties, and of course we both got all the special teams. I think Midnight Rider, you also got all of the O-line correct, right?
I got to double check. No, because I had Daniels making it with my O-line.
Okay.
So I know for a fact that's out.
You had 2 position groups that you got 100% right.
So I have 6 of the 7 receivers because I didn't have a 7th. I carried only 6. And that was just based on my math because I wanted to carry the third quarterback. So, like, my roster crunch cost me, like, that receiver position. But I'm pretty much solid on most of that. Just like I think you got the corners right, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, no, because I had Wild Goose and Whiteside. I got the safeties right.
Okay.
But I left off a safety. I left off
Martin.
I left off Martin.
Left off Martin, yeah, because I kept telling you you're going to get fired as a GM because you didn't keep me your draft picks.
Yeah, I left off Martin. But let me ask you this. What was the position group that you took the biggest hit on?
I think I was just like one off on each one for real. Or maybe I think Daniels may put me at 9 because depending on the scorekeeper, that's why we got the moderator because I don't want to cheat myself or cheat the system on that. But I think I appreciated this because I felt like this is the squad that they put together that if somebody got cut, we actually might see somebody get picked up. Whereas in years before, if they cut somebody, it was 10 out of 10 that joker was coming back on the practice squad because nobody was taking their guys. Mm-hmm. And that used to bother me more than anything else because if nobody's picking up your reserves, and that's telling you lack depth.
And, you know, that's something Doc Walker used to always say. He used to always say, you cut guys and then they don't ever show up in the league again. He said, obviously, you don't have the talent to really impress nobody because these guys are coming here, they're making this team, but you cut them and you never hear from them again. And I think this is about the 3rd or 4th year. You see guys leave from here and then go catch on somewhere else. And it's a totally different ball game. I think now I took a big hit in the running back room because Gore Williams and what's his name, Amon-Ra?
Yeah. All
gone. And I had all 3 of them. So the only thing I was missing was Rodriguez. And I kind of wanted Rodriguez, but I was like, I don't think they're going to keep that many running backs, but I'm thinking they're going to keep a fullback. But I took the biggest hit in the running back room.
But I think the biggest thing about doing this anyway is you're not tapped into their thought process. So this is an exercise really of you trying to figure out what you know and what you think and what you've seen. And honestly, if I didn't have a numbers crunch, Tinsley would have made it. But he was like, you know how they do the Joe Lunardi when the NCAA comes up? And it's like the first 4 in, the last 4 in and the first 4 out or whatever. Mm-hmm. He would have been in like that last 4 out for me. Like he was a fringe guy, and because I had to take a 9th lineman, I couldn't take a 7th receiver.
Would you guys agree that the Commanders, just with Robinson Jr. and Gibson, with that 1-2, that you're comfortable with that going in there and not having to carry 2 extra backs? I mean, that we're not talking about a dramatic drop off. We're talking about one can do a lot and the other one can do a lot. But I think that's I don't want to say it's because your defensive line is the premier group, but I really think like when you compare that 1-2 punch around the league, I think that's a pretty good team you rolling out as far as running backs and like healthy them 2 guys. That's all you need. You know what I'm saying? Because like yeah, I mean like I said, you look around the league, one running back number 1 to 2 is a drop off. One guy can do like I said we always say the power back and it's a combo back, but both of those guys, I think Gibson's problem might be holding on to the ball a little bit. That's probably why he slid back a little bit because of the last couple seasons with the hands. But I mean, I still would take them 2. Those are like when you grading that position group. To me, that's a B+.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. I'm rambling. So you go ahead.
No, all I was gonna say is I honestly see the group a little bit different from you. I call it Bam Bam. I think my 1 is Robinson. I think we come back and sledge you again with Rodriguez, and then with the multifaceted stuff that Eric Bieniemy does and is going to present. I think Gibson's going to be a jack of all trades. You're going to see him in the slot. You're going to see him in motion. You're going to see him doing this. He might get carries out of the backfield, but they don't always like the way he runs with his pad level. So I think they're going to use him in more diverse situations and not focus on him as being just a runner. And I think that's where he's almost like your wild card. So I love what I see from Rodriguez. I just need to make sure he holds on to the football. But yeah, that's exactly what I see. So I gave him a B+ as well.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that this is the best running back group Bieniemy's had even from his time at Kansas City. I think it is. I think it is. I think Mahomes, them throwing 70-80% of the time, having a running back there is just kind of a luxury. But will we see one? All right, two-part question. Do you think this is the best group he's had in the last few years as far as running backs? And two, are we going to see some different things out of him because he has two running backs that can do a multitude of things?
So one, I think, yes, you can see a lot of different things from him. Is this the best room? I think if we're talking about the top of the room, I would say no, because of the Jamal Charles factor. I think Jamal Charles would kind of change that and give you a much higher ceiling and a much lower floor than you get from Robinson and Rodriguez and Gibson. I think they're all like they're in the perfect letter group. They're B's, but I think the fact that Charles is an A, maybe even an A plus at a certain point in his career, I think he changes that dynamic a little bit. I don't remember everybody that was in the room with him during his time there, but I think that would be the only group that I think would give them a challenge. Last year's group with Edwards-Helaire, Pacheco, and McKinnon, I think they were a B. And they're kind of set up the same way. You got the two guys that's going to bang a little bit, and then you got McKinnon that's kind of the finesse back. So I think this fits in the mode of Eric Bieniemy's offense.
KG?
Here's the thing. I was pulling up the stats because you said something. And I was just looking at Eric Bieniemy was the running backs coach for the Kansas City Chiefs from 2013 to 2017. And I just wanted to look up and see who he had in his running back room. And of course, 2018 to 2022, he was the O coordinator. Now he had Jamal Charles from 2013 to 2016 in his running back room. And I'm looking, I don't see another dominant, well, not even dominant. I don't see another feature back that will make you say, this is a good running back room. And I'm going through looking, and I don't put Clyde Edwards-Helaire in that group, but I mean he's really talented. Because when he went down, they had to go out and find guys to fill in for him. It took two players to fill in for Edwards-Helaire. So I think this, but I do think this is up there with one of his most talented running back rooms that he's probably ever had to work with. I'll say that.
Okay. Do I slide into what I want to ask you guys about Ron Rivera? Did y'all have something else to talk about?
No, we good.
I'm going to ask you a question. I want both of y'all to weigh in on this. Ron Rivera basically said he wished he had started Sam Howell earlier because he didn't know what he had. He didn't know how good the kid was, right? And, my ears kind of perked up on that. Read the article, and I'm just like, how do you not, the kids, I know he's not getting first team reps, but we know QB talent when you see it. We know who can make the throws, who can make the reads, and he's getting second team work. So it's, to me, is this damning for Ron to say that and now have to start this kid and kind of, like, if he's saying that about Sam Howell, what else is he not paying attention to? Who else? What is it? Somebody else on the squad that he don't know that could be good, that he missed out on talent or something? I'm just, when Ron says things now, and we keep talking about this might be Ron's year to, for them to move on from Ron. It's just like, Ron, you're not helping yourself when you say these things. Like, so you're telling me that it's a possibility this kid could have started earlier in the season. Maybe help them. You could have got a beat on him then, and he could be really going into the season with some, with some bullets in the gun, some real life experience. versus what he got. I don't get some of these things. The whole Eric Bieniemy situation. Ron put his foot in his mouth. Is this bad for Ron, or am I just like kind of like overreacting?
Wow, I mean that's a great question. I kind of see it as 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I view it as Ron trying to pump his guy up, trying to instill some confidence that, hey, maybe if I saw some of these things that I see now, I would have played you sooner. Trying to give the gift of hindsight some footing in the conversation. It's hard to evaluate a guy when you don't give him considerable amounts of action. I mean, he had that 5-week stretch where he was the number 2, but then after that, he went back to being number 3. And I know there was talks about guys coming up to him saying the kid has something. But let's not forget that there was a $26 million elephant in the room. So when you got to Cleveland or got to San Francisco, there's a guy that paid $26 million out of his checkbook that probably wanted to see if his $26 million was in vain, or was it something that you could save? And when I say that, I mean, this guy went to the board of Maryland commissioners and says, we're okay now. We found our commissioner, and that guy is Dan Snyder. So there is some influence, or probably was some influence, and that probably also helped keep that kid off the field. I don't know, and I think Ron's trying to cover some of that up, but I mean that's got to be a factor in this.
But does he have to cover that up now that the little mini wet hair midget is gone? Does he have to cover that up now? I mean,
yeah.
like I said, it's not just it's several things that Ron has said since the season's got going, and like I said, one of them is just like the whole Eric Bieniemy situation. A lot of people felt like that should have been handled in house. That should have never came out. That should have been, him, EB sitting down talking, EB explaining whatever they hash out in the room between men, and then EB and Ron dealing with the cry of the practicing and stuff. And I understand that the $26 million guy, but it was evident time after time again last season that he wasn't the answer.
But you're talking about as if the people in the room, everybody was in their right frame of mind. Like, I had a coworker I had this argument with right before the game, and he was like, you got to see what you have in Wentz. And I'm like, why do you have to see what you have when you already know what you have? He hasn't shown you anything.
Exactly.
But I mean, there was people that had the thought process of, well, if I paid $26 million, I need to see what it's about. So, but here's the difference in philosophy. Go ahead, B. I'm sorry.
No, but here's the thing with Wentz. He already reached his ceiling. We knew it if we said it before the season started. If Wentz came in healthy and played up to what he played into his what probably would have been his MVP season when he got hurt in Philly. As a vet, as what you've shown, you've already reached your ceiling. You have a couple games to gel, to get your rhythm and time and got down with your new guys. So after these 3 or 4 games, if you're not producing, I mean, it's not like Dan Snyder hasn't overpaid QBs or anybody else before and having to move on from them. So it's just, I understand what you're saying, because it was a different regime, different ownership, different mindset. Everybody walking around with the cloud with the rain over them, and walking on eggshells and tacks and stuff. But they pulled multiple quarterbacks the last 20 years. I just don't understand why you wait so long to Wentz. Heineke is in the future. Everybody in the room knew the fan favorite, but you knew he wasn't going to be the long-term solution. So why not give the gun to your youngin and see what he can do the last 4 or 5 games of the season?
Because Ron has shown you that he will suffer through the known instead of the unknown. Like the reason, like he got to Heineke by accident. You know, he would have if he had his preference. That season that Alex Smith was the backup. If Kyle Allen just didn't run into injuries, Kyle Allen would have been the quarterback. You know, after Dwayne Haskins got benched, this would have been Kyle Allen's team, and he would have been the guy carrying them down the stretch. But because Kyle Allen didn't see an injury he didn't like, you know, it forced the hand to go to Smith. And then when Smith kind of got dinged up, it forced them to go to Haskins reluctantly. And then Haskins decided to have a party. And then we back at Alex Smith. So, like, Ron has showed this level of fearing the new or the unknown. And I think that's what Howell was. Howell was such an unknown for him that he wasn't comfortable. And then finally, when they talked him in, whoever talked him into, hey, give this guy a chance against Dallas and let's see what we have. That's what happened. And then now in hindsight, he's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe if I give him a chance earlier, maybe this plays out different. I don't take that comment as like him being in a position of not knowing something. I think that's it. That's him saying, you know what? Maybe I made a mistake and didn't see or try to see this earlier. I don't know.
Big guy, talk to me.
Let me say something because I agree with you guys. I what Midnight Rider said. I think Daniel Snyder had a lot to do with it. Why is it coming out now? Because it has to come out now. You can't let it come out while he was still here, and you can't
condemn him. You can't condemn him while he's even here and when he's gone, because Ron has to figure out what his job is in 2024, 2025, and 2026.
That's exactly right. And I this is what I think, and I'm being 1,000% honest with this. I think Ron has too much on his plate. He has the front office. On the football side, you have coaching, and then you know, there's some great multitaskers in NFL history. I remember Larry Zonka said Don Shula could be at one end of the field, and you could be running the drill 2 fields over, and he would yell at you from the other end of the field about you doing something wrong because he could see everything. Every coach is not like that. Sometimes you have to delegate roles. I think Ron's plate's too full.
And that's attention to detail. That's being able to multitask. I say it all the time. When you're a coach, you're just not coaching 53 men. You got to handle your staff. You got to handle everything. And then, like the big guy said, when you have too much on your plate, it's, you can't eat it all. You can't eat it all. You sometimes you got to pass some leftovers on to somebody else, and that might be it. I don't know.
But it also seems like Ron does not want to pass the peas like we used to do. And you God, I hate doing this. Look at Gibbs. Gibbs delegated the defense to Richie Pettibone. Pettibone, he said the most I would say to Pettibone during the game, he said I would walk down to him and say, please stop him, and then just walk back. You got some coaches that walk down, if you don't stop him, I'm taking the fuck over and this, all that.
But you can't compare that because
no. But take it a step further.
Because Gibbs ain't only Gibbs was a leader of men, and if he had to go huddle them men up, and right after this, I'm Midnight Rider go fire away. If you got a certain coaches, you got a Tomlin he's a defensive guy. And it's a clip running around when he's chewing Pouncey coming off the field. If you got to chew out even if your specialty is defense, if you got to get into your offensive shit, and if you vice versa, if you're an offensive guy and you got to go light a fire under the defense, that's the head coach. That's what you got to do. Midnight Rider, go ahead. You've been stewing over there.
No, I just want because I want to stay in this line of thought with y'all. So here's my thing. I think Ron isn't just in a battle for his head coaching job. He's in a battle for the team presidency as well. So there's some things that he's trying to do and so there's a bunch on his plate. And he's trying to also show that he needs to keep that title of team president of football operations because right now, Jason Wright, to be honest with you, is probably making this play. Jason Wright is a smart guy. He didn't get to this position not knowing how to manipulate the situation to his advantage. And there's even been talk that there's friction between the two of them. And I guarantee that's at the base of it is two men fighting for the same job or trying to show management that they are the right person to lead them forward. That's all I was trying to say.
But here's my question with that. Why would Jason Wright want to be, if Jason Wright's on the business side, why are you coming over to the football side?
KG.
Huh?
KG. We're the only franchise that differentiates the two.
Well,
so if you're a team president, you're the team president. You're not team president of football operations and team president of business operations. That's just a Dan Snyder thing that he came up with.
And I get that.
So that's where the difference comes in, because I've looked at some of the things that Harris has done, and he's got a team president. Now he may have people below that, like the GM, the assistant GM, and like the business management, but all those branches come up to the top, which is the team president.
And
so this isn't a dual role anymore.
Here's the question.
We're not doing nonsensical dual roles anymore.
Here's the question. You know what this smells like? This smells like Marty Schottenheimer 2.0, except we're already 4 seasons in. Why did Marty Schottenheimer get let go in DC? Because Dan said it in the football life of Marty Schottenheimer, I wanted to separate the roles of team president and head coach. I wanted to separate those roles. But you wanted to bring in somebody that was not as qualified as Marty to run the team, to shop for the groceries, if you will. Because Vinny Serrato, who was banned from the building during the Marty season, could not shop for the groceries the way Marty could shop for his own groceries. Okay? Now, if you ask Ron to separate the title of head coach and team president, and he has to pick one.
Whoa, it's not a pick.
Well, if you asking him to separate.
No, that's not a see, you're acting as if Ron has a choice. No, well, I've said this on the show probably 2 episodes ago, but there's a conversation. If it hasn't been had, it's going to be had between those 4 gentlemen and Ron Rivera. Like, look, you can stay on as our head coach, but we're going to move forward in a more modern, consistent with everybody else that plays football team structure.
But here's the thing. You shake up the front office, right? That's a lot of heads that's going to roll, because in my honest opinion, Marty Herney, gone. Martin Mayhew,
gone.
Martin Mayhew, gone.
Bye.
I believe Doug Williams.
Hey.
Gone.
See, I don't think Doug will go, because I apologize for what I'm about to say, but I think Doug is there as a figure that Dan Snyder has propped up.
I've been said that. Doug, next season, if he stays with the team, Doug gonna be taking tickets at the door.
I think that's his way of staying connected, because he's lost all his other connections. His only connection is Doug, Joe, and that's it. Oh, well, Sean Taylor. So he has to use his triangle of death whenever he gets in trouble.
Okay, I say this because Doug Williams, his former, what was he? Senior vice president of player personnel. I think that was his former role. They gave Doug Williams credit a couple of drafts ago because he found a couple of gems that are still with the team. The Khalik Hudsons. I can't name everybody, but he had a hand in getting some of these late round gems that we were picking. And when they moved him out of that role, I said, why move Doug out of that role if he has the background in scouting? Let him run the scouting department. This is what he did in Tampa. Let him do it.
Because he wasn't meant to do it here.
Then
you gotta remember, this organization used certain people in certain situations to try to cover up from the scars, they were Band-Aids.
Yeah.
But the only problem they had was they would kept trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet shot or a gunshot wound. You can't do that.
So go ahead.
So like you think of the Sean Taylor initiations, activations, the Sean Taylor street name. You think of the let's even go back, the Jay Gruden extension. Like think of what was going on when all those things happened. It was something that came out in the media the day before, and the very next day they were like, "Oh, don't look at this. We extended Jay Gruden. Oh, don't look at this. We're gonna give you something for Sean Taylor. Oh, don't look at that. Here go another thing for Sean Taylor." It's all they did, and they did it in reactionary ways. And if you ever tell by the execution of everything, that was the problem. The team name change. Yes, they gave you this grand show and it was like all rebranding the team and all that crap. Yeah, it wasn't all that fancy.
Okay, then go ahead and say what I know you always say, what you want to say. You holding on to the past, KG. You got to let the past go to move forward.
I wasn't even going to say that because I hadn't even thought about that.
But whenever I mention these players, these former players, like I actually enjoyed when Martin Mayhew was signed as the new GM. I had no problem with that.
See, I think you think, all right, so I think the difference is I'm not adverse to bringing back old guys. What I'm adverse to is you propping them up and they become puppets or they become figureheads. If I felt like Doug was doing something, I wouldn't have a problem with Doug being there. But I feel like at times they just tried Doug out. He's the Trojan horse. He's the seal of approval. He's the Super Bowl, the black Super Bowl champion. Oh, we got our guy, and this is Doug, and God bless America. And it's just, I feel like he's a prop. And that's the only reason I have frustration when they show him. If they allowed him or showed him not just like kissing babies and everything, then yeah, I would have a whole different respect for it. But I feel like he's their rabbit in the hat that they pull out to cover up something that's going wrong. I mean, think about the 2-22-20, whatever, 2-2-22. We the Commanders. What? Shit was god awful.
The rolling that out was god awful.
Yeah.
Are you saying that Doug's a token?
I'm not saying that because I don't think of him as a token. I think of him as the person that there's a way to distract from everything else. That's how I see him. I see him as a distraction or like that gem to take you back to yesteryear. He's that fond memory. I feel like I would be disrespectful if I said he was a token.
Okay.
I thought BJ was about to jump in on that.
I've called him a token before. I think he's being used as a token by previous ownership and everything Midnight Rider alluded to about how they use distractions and hey, look at this, look at that. I think his intentions were pure, but I think the way he was used is a token. Hey, well, look, we still got Doug Williams. Walk around the concourse and show your face and wave, and let the people see you. And have we'll have Joe Gibbs here every now and again. The people that actually that still communicate with us because and that's something I said too. Hopefully the new ownership brings back yesteryear. Those players that were alienated, that didn't want anything to do with the franchise anymore because of Mr. Snyder. So.
And I think you saw some of that too. I think you've seen with the training camp videos that day. What was that? I think it was the NFL had the day when all the people came back. You saw players come back. You heard, if you haven't heard it, but Mike Sellers has a great interview with, it's not Chris Russell. It's, I don't know. I think it's Grant and Danny, but I'm not going to say that for sure. I'll try to look it up. But he gets emotional talking about being back at the facility. He wasn't as emotional when he talked to Chris Russell, but you could feel the emotions in him talking about wanting to be back in this building and what he felt and what that building meant to him.
Give you that. So, final question before we wrap it up. Let me ask you, gentlemen, this. Do we wait to the end of the season to see the shakeup of the front office and the roles change?
Yeah, I think that's inevitable. I think you're going to see fat trimmed for sure. Because, like I said, this is a new ownership, new direction. They got to fix a lot of wrongs. They got to right the ship. I mean, I think the ship was sinking. I think they got the hole fixed, but they still got to get the water out. They still got to do upgrades. You know, they got telephones in there from 1980, our 1980s phone system. You know, they got to upgrade all of this stuff. I think it's no question you're going to see. I don't know. The question for me is it going to be subtle moves or is it going to be just, hey, let's chop some heads? And I think that starts on the field. If for some reason this team stumbles out of the gate, even with a rookie quarterback, this team looks bad. I think you're going to see Ron out and EB promoted to interim head coach. I think that's one of the first, like, high up on my list of happening. Now, the front office stuff, I think definitely next year. I think this whole season they're going to be trying to put names on the board and putting a team in place to take this team forward. I really, I have no doubt about that. I just don't see the same, and Midnight Rider said, the same structure, all these, irrelevant positions. They're going to trim it down. They're going to get the people in here that need to get in here to work magic.
And I actually think I'd go opposite of BJ when we say trim. I think we will have more defined roles of people and will encompass more things. He's going to try to modernize whatever the structure is to get it to what everybody in the league does. We're talking about a guy that had minority ownership in the Steelers. I guarantee you he spent a day or two in the building, weeks in the building. He knows what the building should look like, what the building should feel like. And so with that point in mind, I just think that there's no way this structure doesn't change in some way, shape, or form. And he puts his handprints on it. Man wrote a $6 billion check. I kind of get to say what goes on here. I think if they're struggling down the stretch, it happens week 4 after the bye, right around the bye. I think that's when change is going to come. But if they're in the playoff hunt and they're making moves, I think after they get eliminated, there's conversations had in the exit interview. He's gonna put it to a point like you can stay or you can go. And I think that's where Ron has to make a decision. Does he want to be just a head coach? Because he can't be everything else.
I think that one of the biggest changes you'll see off the field, it won't be a personnel change. I know they want to move in. They want to move out of Redskin Park. I don't know how soon that's going to happen, but I think you'll see some upgrades at Redskin Park. I think you'll see those outdoor fields used a little bit more, as well as the bubble and everything. I think a lot of things will be redone, and I think that'll come more in the off season. That won't happen during the season. That as soon as the season's over, that's when the work starts. I think you'll probably see subtle upgrades during the bye week and stuff like that to the building. But before they build the command center, as they're calling it, I think, there'll be some upgrades to Redskin Park. Because this is new Redskin Park. What is this, 72? That's 70. It's been open since the 70s, and it's only been upgraded maybe like 2 or 3 times in 50 years.
Right.
So it needs a major overhaul. But I think that's one of the first things you'll see. Gentlemen, final thoughts before we roll up out of here.
To go off topic, the Nats, man. I mean, they're battling. I know we talked earlier about do they have enough time. I mean, they're playing good enough baseball right now that they have time to either make it close. They may not get there, but they may make it interesting. They may get to close to 500. And I was going to actually ask you, KG, you probably got to go back. I don't know when we had this conversation, but I would love to know my preseason thoughts because I know I was down on this team because they didn't sign anybody. They didn't bring in the right people, I didn't feel like. And then they got some big things. They got Gore to be healthy. Candelero actually played baseball at an all-star level. You got Josiah Gray playing at an all-star level. And those were two things I didn't expect to happen. So let's keep the Nats on our radar. I mean, they're hovering, and they're going to make it interesting the rest of the way.
Sheesh. They are 9 games back.
Yeah.
9.5 back out of the wild card. Well, no, this is old. This is
they're in that area. They're like 8 to 9 back.
Because this got them at 50 and 65. I thought they were like 60, 61 and 71.
Hold on.
Or am I looking at this wrong? This is 2023. That's why I say August 9th.
Good God, bro.
61 and 71.
Yeah. It's got the joint all wrong. Damn, MLB, why you take me back to the 9th? Like, Jesus, bro. Okay, they're 8 games out. They're 8 games out of the wild card. And
10 games from 500.
Yeah, 10 games, 500, 61 and 71.
So that's
you got
132. So you got 30 games left. 30 games left.
If they can go on a run,
you go 20 and 10, you're 81 and 81.
Yeah. And you got to hope that every team above you, from the Diamondbacks, the Giants, the Reds, the Marlins, and the Padres, all stumble and fall.
Let's just get the 500 first and figure the rest out.
True. Now, here's a question. I got to look at I'm going to have to do it after the show. We'll talk about it on Thursday. But if they got series, let's say they got 3-game series against the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams ahead of them, and they got at least 1 or 2 3-game series against them, and they can steal the series from these guys.
They don't. They end with Murder's Row. They end with the Braves, the Orioles, and the Braves, I think, in their last 3 series. And that's, you're talking about 2 of the best teams in baseball. So this is going to be a struggle for them to end it out the way. I know exactly what you were thinking. Trust me, dog. I already went out there and started looking. And then I was just like, as I started going down the thing, I started looking. And I was like, ooh. So we'll see, though. And they're starting to call up young guys. That's the one thing I love about this group is they're not scared to give a guy a chance. Like they brought Carter Kieboom up, who was supposed to have been an untouchable player and supposed to be the future. And since he's been up and they've given him time, I think he hit his 3rd home run tonight for the season. He's been up for about 2 weeks. So he's starting to show some power and show some contact. I hope they give him more bats and more chances. And that's the other reason why I don't think like that 20 and 10 thing is going to be too plausible, because I think they got to give some guys some shine and try to see what they have in some of these guys that aren't the main guys. So you're going to see a lot of Jacob Lou. I think you're going to see a lot of the kid Jacob in center field. You're going to see whoever the other outfielders are, not Alex Cole, but some of these other guys that they call up from AAA because they need to see what they have.
Boss BJ?
I don't have anything, man. That's it for me.
Well, I mean, we can sit here and we can talk Nats for the rest of the night, but the Midnight Rider, he that guy right there on the end, the one on the end, he got to go pan sear that chicken, make the mashed potatoes. So, thank you everybody for joining us. All those out in podcast land and listening, thank you. Sometime this week, I'm going to post a definite schedule of when the shows are so you can catch the live shows, but also the links to be able to, whatever you miss, to be able to come back and catch it again. So I'll make sure I post that for everybody. But until Thursday, in the middle, that's the Boss BJ. On the end, that's the Midnight Rider. And right here is the big guy KG. I would say we don't do no overtime,
but we always do.
Yeah, we always do. It's Ross. What's going on, buddy? I didn't know you was here, man. we gonna have to catch Ross up because I want to see who he had in this 53-man roster because we gonna Washington's supposed to be active. If they're gonna be active, Ross called it. You heard it here first. I'm gonna say that. So, but until Thursday, we did overtime, but we are out of here.
Peace.